Welcome to the Casual Observer. I'm your host, Daniel, and today it's time to bury some of these clowns. We, as in Australia, have lost the first test against Bangladesh of a two-match series up in Darwin, and quite convincingly, might I add. Bangladesh won by 9 wickets, chasing a grand total of 57 in the second innings and making it look very easy. I swear they were playing on a different pitch to what we were, but at the end of the day, they just had the skill and that mental prowess, and we just weren't there. We weren't as sharp. We looked like a team that hadn't played in 7 months, and we just didn't want it as much, all this kind of stuff. But plenty to unpack here. But yeah, first of all, how good is Test cricket? It's great to have it in August. I think Mitch Stark said usually they are touring overseas at this time of the year, so it's great to have some cricket in the Northern Territory. No rain, no thunderstorms, just pure Test cricket starting at 8:30 in the morning. So good. And what an enthralling game. Obviously, before the series, I think even if you'd kind of, had your best hopes of Bangladesh, you thought, this is going to be a 2-0 win to Australia. There might be a couple close moments, but that's it. Instead, I don't think Bangladesh has even had a little scare to start this series. They have been dominant. I don't think they lost a session. If they did lose it, they didn't lose it. They tied it. They were so dominant, so consistent. Real team game. Everyone chipped in. I think if your worst player is either Tajul Islam or Leighton Das, you're in good shape because they are great players. But yeah, it's so good to have the cricket on at a good time. Not like in England where you've got to watch a session, go to bed, watch the next day, which is great in its own way. But yeah, this is amazing. It went to the 4th day and fairly deep into the 4th day as well, which is so good. But it was just, you couldn't look away. It was enthralling. It may not have been baseball rates of scoring or a wicket every over, but it was such a good contest and a good battle. At points, no one was trying to, as much as Aussies were off the pace, like they weren't giving up. They were still in this. And I know I didn't miss a ball. I watched every ball, loved it, wish I was there. Darwin crowd, even though it was only 5,000 people at a time, it felt like the crowd was on top of the players, in there, loud. Obviously, a lot of them were Bangladesh fans, but yeah, it was awesome. I like the idea of having, even if it's not sold out, it's a smaller venue in some ways, and still pretty long boundaries. I think a straight hit was 80 meters, but it felt like the crowd was right there, which is just awesome. Awesome to see some grass banks as well back. Great idea, I think, moving forward to get earlier tests in the Northern Territory. The pitch, amazing. It was green on day one, seamed around. I think average seam movement was like 10 centimetres in the first session of day one, and then by about day 3, it was its best for batting. By the end of day 3, it started, a few balls staying low and a little bit slower off the wicket, but overall, that's what you want from a pitch that gives you a bit of juice early, and then by day 5 will be a bit more for the spinners and will give you the odd, variance and bounce, basically. So, amazing pitch, and Bangladesh really used the best of all the conditions. They were told to field first, and I reckon they did that with absolute joy. Seeing overcast conditions, seeing a green deck, and a team that hasn't played any Test cricket for 7 months. If you look at probably what we were going in with was a slightly arrogant lineup from the media, from the experts, from the team itself. They say they prepared well. I don't know how in today's climate you're going to prepare well. I said in the last pod we should have had an Australia A versus Australia, 2-day warm-up. That would get competitive. But it also seems like how are you meant to get proper preparation in this schedule when you've got players playing in the IPL and the MLC and the 100? It's just, I know these guys skipped the 100 to play this. So, their hearts, obviously, they still want to play Test cricket. They still want to win. They're not just giving this shit away. But, they looked very undercooked. I think Mark Waugh said it best when he said that it wasn't anything too crazy. It was just at this level why we talk about techniques so much. And I think when you have 4 or 5 chop-ons, some contact points with the ball out in front of you that is just giving dolly catches to short cover, short mid-wicket, caught and bowled. A lot of that is technique. And it just, we're at the top level of our sport, and we're basically going back to basics. And Bangladesh did all the basics well, and Australia looked so out of sorts. A couple of things about the pitch is more like obviously really good Test cricket pitch, but a lot of it doesn't seem like a home field advantage with the way the Aussie pitches have been lately. Real spicy, but obviously it makes our bowling lineup look way more potent. But on this deck, it just nullified everything we kind of had to offer as a bowling lineup. It's not bad. I don't hate not having no short ball bouncer barrage for periods at a time. The field stayed up. We kept attacking, which is great. But it's just some other ploys that weren't used. A lot of praise was given to the bowling lineup for Australia, but they didn't produce many chances at all. I thought Nathan Lyon looked old and shit and slow and just bad. It was not good. Josh Hazlewood obviously got the rewards, but I don't know. I think it was about 5% of our deliveries were hitting the stumps. Like, you're taking out 2 modes of dismissal automatically. And on a pitch like this, if bowling those channels on 4th or 5th stump isn't getting you anywhere and you can't go to the bouncer barrage, I think maybe just going and setting a field and bowling straight at the stumps for a period of the time is actually another strategy, another tactic. So I thought Pat Cummins had a really bad game, offered nothing with the bat, wasn't as great strategically as Shanto. He missed a couple of tricks, which I thought were pretty obvious. We'll dive into that as we go along, but he was pretty bad. Mitch Starc bowled well, just didn't get any luck. I think if your captain's one of your worst players in this game, you're in trouble. I love the third innings of any game. I think that's what makes Test cricket so fun, is that third innings makes or breaks a lot of games. Is if you've got a lead, get a bigger one, power it home, see how late you want to bat into the game, those kind of things. What strategies, tactics. And then if you're behind like Australia were by 228, how do you grind out of that? Do you lose by an innings? Do you set up a hell of a total? What goes on? Like, I thought they were going to get the best of the batting conditions, and they made it look very difficult. They got rolled for 284 in their second innings, the third innings of the game. Obviously, a lot more effort went into it than the first innings, but it just seemed like we actually had a few more runs on the board than when we actually got bowled out. It was like, 284 is not great. But it was such fun actually watching them put their minds to it, grind away. Bangladesh never gave up. They never got frustrated. They never dropped their heads. They never just got too chirpy. They just stayed in their own little bubble, enjoyed the game with the 11 blokes on the field, all the extra players, all the staff members. They just did their thing. They didn't give a shit about Australia and what we were doing. And that's really the difference. Is they didn't get too high. They didn't get too low. They had good strategy. Everyone contributed, did their job, played a role, and Australia just had 11 individuals, really. That's as nice as we could be. I thought if we could have kept Bangladesh to a 140 lead instead of a 228, I thought obviously we get better use of a better pitch at that stage because having 88 runs extra is probably about 30 overs extra in the field, extra on the pitch, and that also was going to play a role. So, Mahedi Miraz batted so well to get 65, but batted well with the tail. Hassan Mahmood, bloody hell, man of the match with 9 for, but also, 14 off 92, hell of an effort to just rear guard, keep us out there, and get that lead from one, as I said, potentially, especially after our new ball barrage where we got 3 quick wickets. Shanto Mushfiqur and Das all out. I thought, oh, there's a chance we can get them, only 120 ahead. But no, the lower order did more than what was expected, and that 228 was always going to be hard to overcome. But I thought if we could get a lead of 150, we're in. But no, we fucked it. Completely fucked it. Jake Weatherall chops on. Everyone's calling for his head. Look, I mean, you go field for 130 overs over 3 days. You tell me what kind of mental energy, any of those kind of states that you have. Look, it's his job, obviously, to go out there, score runs, put the whole fielding thing behind him. But I don't know. It's a tough gig being an opener after fielding 130 overs in the heat. And look, if he gets a couple of shots away, man, we're talking so differently about his intent and positivity, but instead he chops on and poor bastard's just copping it from everywhere. So, look, we'll break it down because we left you at the end of day 2 last time. So, Bangladesh build a lead. We come out, we're trying to chip into it, and we are in the doghouse early. We've lost Travis Head in the 11th over. He also chopped on again. But Mana started looking a little better until he just played all around one. I reckon 4 or 5 years ago, that shot that he got out to on day 3, he hits that every time, at least for 1, if not 4. And the fact he's missing that, I think, is less technical and more mental. I think he's just... And it's true, like Mark Waugh said it, and he said a few good things in this test match. Usually angers most of us, but I think he's actually said some good shit. Basically, just he's got that fear of getting out. He doesn't want to score runs. Basically, that's just a product of him being out there. But making it look really difficult, Baju. Just fear of doing anything other than surviving. And I think if you're looking to score runs, again, that technical part of the game just takes care of itself. And the fact he played all-rounder half volley basically says enough. I mean, again, it's a bit of a boys' club in the Australian dressing room, I reckon. It's obviously a boys' club, but, a very close-knit group. And, that's why some of these guys have had such a long leash. But, I gave so much shit to England for keeping Zach Crawley, Ollie Pope, some of those blokes around when they should have been dropped earlier. But we're doing the same. It's paid dividends for Cam Green, and we'll get to that. But, we've kept Marnus around for a long time, and it's denied opportunities elsewhere. It's just, again, we can drop Nathan Lyon from multiple test matches. I think it was Sabina Park in the West Indies, and then last year during the Ashes before he did his calf. In Brisbane, no questions, no qualms. To drop a batsman is apparently the hardest thing in the world to do. So, we're paying for it now because we're 1-0 down in the series to Bangladesh. The only other reserve batter in the squad is Inglis. And unless you're going to fly McSweeney over from England, or you're going to get Matty Renshaw in, you've got one choice basically, which means reshuffling the batting lineup again. So I think that's a no-no. Look, it's one game at the end of the day. Look, we do want some sort of repercussions for losing to the 9th ranked team in the world, especially when they haven't been in Australia since Dizzy got his 200 not out as a night watchman, which is 23 years ago or something like that. When people are calling this embarrassing and pathetic, and I don't know, I think that's disrespectful to Bangladesh. They played so well. Let's give them their credit. They actually look like the team playing at home. They look like the team with a plan, structure, some sort of consequence for their actions. They took pride on every wicket, every field setting, every stop in the field. They were putting so much pressure on us, and I think we didn't lose this game. They genuinely won it. Again, we probably took day 1 as a bit of a piss take, but shit, they didn't take any of it at all for granted. So embarrassing, I think, is a bit harsh. If we got rolled for 50, that would have been embarrassing. But I just think, no, you can't be throwing words. Ex-players like Trent Copeland throwing around, it's pathetic, it's embarrassing. Come on, man. We've all played cricket. anyone can win in this day and age. Like with the IPL and all the other T20 leagues around the world, like that fear of those players isn't there anymore. You think back to like 2005, 6, maybe even earlier. People coming to play Australia, you had the names, the legacies, the Gilchrist, the Warnes, McGraths, and you had Brett Lee bowling 150 Thunderbolts. Like, you haven't seen these guys, you haven't met these guys, you haven't trained against these guys. They're just myths and legends, and then you have to play them. Now with all these leagues around the world, everyone's getting exposed to everyone. So, one, the person usually. Two, you've kind of faced them before. Nothing's new, nothing's that scary, nothing's that hidden. So, I don't know. I think it's easier these days to actually get that kind of stuff sorted because you've seen them, you're exposed to them. They're not just this mythical creature that, like Shane Warne would have been, or, going up against Ponting and Gilchrist. Like, I don't know. It's a different world, and I think Bangladesh have definitely, they're a part of that world that's, I just think to call it embarrassing is a shot at them, and they don't need that. They beat us. They beat us fair and square, and they should be full of confidence because they didn't even have their best team on the park. So, just amazing work by them. Look, they didn't play the perfect game either. Like, as you can note, jot down some things. Drop catches by Tanzid off Steve Smith on 2. Shanto early took out the third slip right after Steve Smith was dropped, and then he edged one through third slip. Tanzid throws away. He gets to 101, grinds it out, bats really well, and then throws it away. There was Eberdot. Alex Carey reverse sweeps it, and he just stands there like a traffic cone, and the ball goes straight past him. Mohamed Ul Haq a little bit too deep at mid-on, mid-off, and the boys are just pushing singles to them. Like, still some of those little things that are happening where you're like, look, they didn't play the perfect game by any means, and they still crushed us. So they would have learnt a lot from this, but now there's definitely no fear going into game 2. There's no mystery, there's no fear, there's no... they're the hunted now. So as much as everyone's got a bag on Australia and asked for change, I think give Bangladesh the props, the flowers. They earned this. They basically won by an innings. Like, let's be honest. To chase 57, 1 down. You basically won by an innings. It's an incredible effort. And it's hard to rate some of their players because if you're a batsman, you got one crack at this game to make a difference. Lucky most of their batsmen did make a difference, which is great, but they just looked wholly untroubled in that their second innings, the game's 4th innings, when it should have been a little bit harder to bat. They just made it look so easy. So we'll get specific about it. Look, again, preparation, always good in hindsight. I think when there's all these franchise leagues around the world, players are all over the world, it's hard to get a squad together. I mean, they turned down the 100, most of them. So, they clearly want to be here. They clearly want to train and put the effort in and do the hard yards. So for anyone saying, they're just taking the piss, they're not. They're straight up, they gave away $500,000 worth of pay for 6 weeks worth of work to be here. So they did that. It's just hard to obviously get a squad together for long enough in a lead up to a series. But being told by everyone that you should dominate and stuff like that clearly doesn't help the mental aspect of, staying sharp, staying ready, because they weren't. Day one proves that. But yeah, some of the things that I think we've come up with after is still how important Steve Smith is. Obviously been one of the best players in the world. He and Joe Root, oh my God, you would have thought in their careers someone would have come along that's just as important as them. And at times there have been, but not for any sustained period of time. At least England now have Harry Brook as another tentpole of that batting lineup. I look at ours, and honestly, I'm looking at it's you got Travis Head, you got Steve Smith, Alex Carey. That's it. That sucks. Steve Smith needs some help, and he shouldn't still be our biggest shining hope every time we go out to bat. So that's a bit of a takeaway. With the bowling, again, got to have different plans. They were bowled dead set, like tight lines, very few loose balls. And Bangladesh still scored at 3.5 and over. So they, our bowlers are made to toil. I don't disagree with any of the bowling selections. I just think like Nathan Lyon just looked horrific. And if he's going to be better for the run, we'll find out on Saturday when they play again in Mackay. But I don't know, man. He looked shit. Didn't have too many balls that spun past the bat. His fields were pretty pathetic. Having long off, deep square, deep point. I mean, you got 560 test wickets. Like, can you show it? Can you show how you've actually got some of those wickets in this game? Like, I know you're a bit undercooked and still building up some trust in that calf, and that mental aspect is huge, but fuck me, dude. Like, just, actually have some mystery and dominance about you. Like, don't just be a little spoiled brat that's as soon as things don't go your way, you crack the shits. Like, I mean, it was a bit of a clown performance by Lyon, honestly. Like, Mahedi, first time in Australia, basically, and he's looking like a world-class spinner. And then you got Lyon on the other side that looked like, why is Corey Rocacholi not playing, basically? He looked slow in the field. He nearly got run out every time he ran when he was batting. There wasn't a lot there that Lino offered. And again, he might come out next week and just dominate, which I hope, because if he doesn't, I don't know how we win in South Africa in a few months. Pat Cummins looked awful. He had some, a little bit of lack of luck, but I don't know. Offered again nothing with the bat. Always good in the field, but some of his strategy stuff is just poor. But the biggest one I noticed is, again, like, Bangladesh need 57 to win. They're 1 for 4. Hazelwood gets the early breakthrough, and I respect it. Pat Cummins goes to line early. You need, if you're going to go to a spinner in a run chase, you got to go to him early. Mainly because we only had 57. If we had 157, he probably holds off. But I thought that was good. But the fields, every time these blokes from Bangladesh just like nicked one onto their body or, chopped on almost, like, they got at least a single every time. Like, there's no pressure. You middle it, you get 4. You edge it, you get at least a single. Lions bowling, they're sweeping. Even with the sweepers out on the boundary, they're still getting 2, 3 every time. Like, it just made no sense. It was so easy to chase those runs down. There was no pressure. There was no nerves going through that Bangladesh camp. It was a bit of, why did we bother batting so, basically Cam Green, Alex Carey, why did we bother fighting so hard for that? That was shit. Pat Cummins didn't bowl in the second innings. He bowled Bo Webster. I would have thought you were going to go to Cam Green, who just scored 100. Might be tired, don't give a shit. His job's to bowl fast. And his job's to be an all-rounder and make a difference and be like a Ben Stokes and a Freddie Flintoff, ideally. And to not even give him a go with the ball after scoring his maiden home soil Test 100. I don't know. I thought if there's ever a time for Cam Green to get some confidence with the ball, it's when you've got nothing to lose, balls to the wall, just throw him the ball fresh off 100. He's warmed up. He's no doubt full of confidence. And just let rip, man. Like, if you get 2 or 3 poles, awesome. Instead, nope, didn't see him. I don't think he even touched the ball in the field. So that just was a bit confusing, I guess, as a watcher. I dare say Cam Green's confidence has gone sky high in batting, and whatever the hell is low. It would be so buried deep in the bowling crease that, I just thought it's free money basically, and instead you didn't use it. And no doubt you're trying to keep Bo Webster in and amongst it, but and get a few more overs under Lyon's belt. I get all that, but no, it just seemed like it was too easy. Not the right strings were pulled on the Australian side, and Shanto was all over it on the Bangladeshi side. Look, it got me thinking as well with selections. I haven't really changed this team, and we've been winning a lot, so I'm not going to argue the winning aspect and keeping a group together for this long. It's a pretty generational run. But, I think back to George Bailey, who's like chief selector. And I reckon he's kind of and Andrew McDonald are keeping this group together for as long as they can. One, because if you drop anyone, it's most likely their career done, and that's a big call on anyone. But two, I think George Bailey's also selecting as if how he would want to be selected, which makes sense because he played one series as a Test cricketer, 5 games against England at home, didn't produce the goods, and got dropped, never seen again, which I thought was a bit unlucky. We had the Alex Doolan, Rob Quiney, even Chris Rogers had one test and got shafted until he came back the second time at a later age. Callum Ferguson, Joe Mennie, David Hussey didn't even play Test cricket, Cam White, all these guys that could have had a bit more of a bit of leeway into the Australian team instead of just one poor series and you're done. So I respect the fact that they're selecting off here's how I would have wanted to be selected if that is the case. But yeah, Marnus doesn't look like getting a run. I don't think you can drop anyone now, honestly, for the second game. I just think you went in with the squad, you picked your best lineup on paper, they didn't perform. If you just, panic and it's all, blow it up, nuclear war style, that's not really giving anyone any confidence in the fact that you picked the squad and it was good enough 4 days ago. So that's my take on the selecting. But, I've also said for a long time, Matty Renshaw should be in. We should be looking at players like Rockacholi, Scott Boland, Fergus O'Neill. He would have been a handful on that wicket. And in the batting department, what's wrong with Marcus Harris? What's wrong with Matty Renshaw, Nathan McSweeney? Why are people throwing away around these names of Cooper Connolly has actually done stuff. So I understand maybe not so much at first class level, but he could be a name considered. But going with Campbell Kellaway and more Sam Constas, and you're just that. What the fuck have they done? Ollie Peake. No offense to them, they will play for Australia at some point, but they averaged 28 in the Shield last year. It's just no, no, thank you. I'd rather keep Jake Weatherald. But yeah, look. So Bangladesh, I will not go through each of their players. Look, they all get 10s for me. Again, if your worst player is Lytton Das, fuck me, you're in great stead. He's an amazing player. Shanto looked amazing. Tanzid looked amazing. Mahedi looked amazing. They did their thing, man. So I'm actually worried we might lose this series 2-0. On the Australian side, ratings-wise, look, Jake Weatherald gets a 1. He got off to a good start in that first innings, and you could see what that opening partnership could be like. With Travis Head and Jake Weatherald both going, there's a lot of intent, a lot of pressure on the fielding team. The game can get away from you quickly. Unfortunately, we just haven't seen that from both of them at the same time. So, gets a 1. But I hate the fact that people are bagging on him. He knows he's under pressure. But to say he should never have been there and why did he change his technique? Look, go watch some county games, as you said in the last pod. He dominated the county circuit before his injury, and look, the new technique clearly works. It's just one game, and if he fails again, then you know what? Hey, might be time to call some curtains there. I would still give him all the way through South Africa, but anyway, I think that's pretty rough. Travis Head, look, honestly, I'd say 5 out of 10. Look, didn't have a great game. You can't score runs every single time though. What did he say? He scored something like 47% of our runs in the Ashes. If that's your expectation, of course you're going to fail. He was so good. He actually made that pitch look docile compared to other batters. And he just chopped on twice, which is, again, a technical flaw. One was a gentle push with his hands well away from his body, chopped on. The next one went back to a half volley, chopped on. That's just little things. Again, the way he was batting before that was solid in defence and then waiting for the bad ball. When people are bagging on him, he's not an opener. He was fucking good enough last series, so I'm sorry. If he wants to open, he opens. It's just a pretty open and shut case. It's one game. He was one of the few people that actually made that for the Australians. The Bangladeshis made that pitch look real good. But yeah, for the Aussies, like he was one of that few that actually made it look easy until he didn't. But yeah, 5 out of 10, just offered a bit in the field, offered a bit with the ball, but yeah, it's the way he kind of went about. Like, just because you didn't score the runs doesn't mean you have to have a failing grade. Marnus, however, I would say gets like a 4 out of 10. His energy in the field, his bowling, honestly, was love it. That's a great reason to have him in the squad and in the team. But his batting, he looked like a sitting duck in the first innings, and in the second innings was going. I thought he was on, but then once you miss a full straight one, and we've all done it, but it's not a technical thing; it's a mental thing. So I think his fielding and the fact that he it's just part of this, ingrained in this team, is just the only thing keeping him there. But if this team was serious about making a change, I'd still leave Jake Weatherall, but Marnus would be on the outers. And look, you've already dropped him in the West Indies, which probably did him a favour because that was a hard place to bat. But I'd be saying bye for now. And Matty Renshaw would be straight in there. Look, Steve Smith gets a 7. Lucky to get the 7 as well. As he got dropped on 2, should have been caught again when he snicked through third slip, but they'd just taken third slip out and then had the nick, which wasn't picked up on Snicko. So his 71 in the first innings really was a 2, and a 7. But yeah, 71 and 44, great numbers for the game. But again, once he got out in that second innings, a whole batting order, the game was basically over. We had 14% chance of odds of winning that game when he was still in, and that plummeted once he got out. So, look, a lot of expectations, a lot of pressure, made it look easy as well, like Travis Head, but also found a way to get out by just giving a little dolly catch. So, 7 out of 10, he could have been also struggling there for a bit. Cam Green, look, I would say also a 7. And that's harsh. Guy got 100. Played really well for it. First innings, look, just got caught out in front of him, chipped one to mid-wicket, pretty soft dismissal, offered not much with the ball, brain fade in the field when he dropped the catch off the last ball of the day off Marnus. Even though you got that 100 in those conditions, the ball you got out to in the second innings, yes, it stayed low, but you weren't forward, you weren't back, your hands are away from your body. I know that's how you've been playing all game, but once you get out like that, it doesn't look great either. You can blame the pitch. I certainly would too. But I think if you'd been either forward or back and fully committed, you would have survived that ball. And that's the thing. Hey, it's like he seems like someone that's like, if he's got a bit like a Michael Bevan in a way, where if he's got the game situation laid out in front of him, he knows what to do. But when it's kind of open up in the air, that's when it fails. So he knew he had to get to his 100 to keep his spot in the team, did it. Get Australia the lead, did it. As soon as those were ticked off, starting to figure out what a good score is and, what rate to score at to give yourselves enough time to bowl Bangladesh out. That suddenly he gets out pretty quickly. So the game situation, I think, really helped him. Alex Carey, look, 6 out of 10 for me. I know didn't get the runs that Cam Green did, but was amazing behind the stumps. Had the most energy at the crease, that's for sure. Never really looked like getting out until he did. And the ball in the second innings that got him, hey, well bowled from Mahedi. Got one to spin pretty viciously. Had to play at it because it's on the stumps, and then just grabs an edge, shoulder of the bat. Good ball. So he was in for the fight. Really good keeping. As I didn't really notice anything on his end. It was just that first innings dismissal where he chopped on with, going back to a full ball. So, I thought, again, just because the scores weren't there doesn't mean the process wasn't right. So 6 for him. Bo Webster's going to be probably dead inside. He might also be in a bit of trouble here. I think he needs a long run to the team as well, such as Jake, to give these guys no chance after you gave Cam Green 38 tests to figure this shit out. But, there's rules for some, but not for others, which is a bit rough. So I think he needs a good run in the team without any pressure of, hey, one bad performance and you're gone. But unfortunately today in this match was a solid 3 out of 10. Didn't look that penetrating with the ball. Good in the field, but barely touched it. And with the bat, I think just missed 2 straight ones. Just played the wrong line. Top of off went flying. So, again, we've all been in those situations where you're like, man, I got 2 peaches. I think there's a few things technically you can do, though, that fix that right up. Look, Pat Cummins, I would also just give a 3 out of 10. Great effort with his bowling. Didn't get the rewards. But other than that, captaincy was shoddy. The fact that you said you'd bat first again, even with hindsight, sorry, what? Why? What do you mean you'd bat first again? That's stupid, man. 3 out of 10. Seemed underdone. And if anyone's missing the next test from the bowling department, it probably should be Pat. Mitchie Stark, look, 5 out of 10, bowled well, didn't get any luck. Not huge resistance with the bat, and again, his process was good. He didn't get the results with the ball, but he played so well all last summer, being the head of the attack, that look, just because you don't get the results doesn't mean you didn't bowl well. So was good in the field. Unfortunately, just didn't get the bags of wickets we needed. Nathan Lyon, honestly, a 1 out of 10. The only reason he gets 1 is because he helped Cam Green get to his 100. That's about it. Didn't bowl well. Got out bowled by the opposing spinner comfortably. And, not great in the field. Not much more. We've already talked about him. Not much more to say on Lino. But Josh Hazlewood, you have to give a solid 8 out of 10. Bowled really well. Got better with each spell. Again, not really expecting much with the bat from Hazel, but fielded all right, barely touches it. But he's a menace with the ball, and definitely probably our best player in the game. Most consistent, got the only wicket in the second innings. Big fan of everything the Hoff did, and I thought, honestly, if I was selecting the team, I would have had Scotty Boland in ahead of the Hoff. So I was wrong. I was wrong about Cam Green. Love to see the WA boy do well. Didn't think he deserves his place in the side. But holy shit, did he prove that wrong? When people said, now he's got this 100, he's safe in the team for a long time. I don't know about long time. I would say he cemented his place for the next game and South Africa, at least the start of South Africa. That 3-match series, if he goes poorly in this next game and then the first 2 games of South Africa, you could see Cam Green also getting dropped. 100 is amazing, especially in those trying circumstances. But it's also, there's been a lot of bad form leading up to it. Yes, he's chopped and changed his spot in the position, in the order, which is not fair to him. He's batted anywhere from 3 down to 8. Nowhere, 6 is his most common. 4 is his best position. Smithy is not giving that up for him. So I think 5 is fair. If Travis ever moves down from the top of the order, I think back to 6 for Cam. But I could only see that in the future, basically, is number 5 is now Cam's for the foreseeable future. And if Smudge ever retires, which we're hoping not for a while, but if he does, you could see Cam going to 4, Travis Head going to 5, figuring out that opening combination again. But I was wrong about Hazelwood. I was wrong about Cam Green. Was dead right about Marnus, dead right about Lyon. So, 50-50. That's as good as we could give it. Some of the quotes after the game have been, again, a bit wild. But the big one for most people is, batting with fear. It's the biggest win for Bangladesh in any format. Awesome. Huge for Bangladesh. Life-changing shit for these blokes. But the batting with fear, again, Bangladesh had a plan. They stuck with it. They looked solid. That pitch didn't look to have too many demons when they batted. And they got everything out of it when they bowled. While Australia, apart from, as I said, Travis Head and Steve Smith, no one really looked that comfy on that wicket. So home court advantage was completely mute. And I think the only difference is Bangladesh had nothing to lose. They're expected to lose. So therefore, let's just play. Australians, obviously half the batting lineup is under pressure. Starts at the top. Jake knows it. People are calling for Travis not to open after 1 fail. That's stupid. Marnus is under pressure. Cam Green was under pressure. Bo Webster's in and out of the team, which doesn't help him. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. So, I don't blame some of them for batting with fear. It's, there's consistency on some people and not with others, which I think is shit. So, look, Ponting has torn them a new arsehole. He has gone to town, basically said it's super embarrassing and called for changes, all those kind of things, which look fair. I respect that. Look, he always tried to keep the same kind of squad when he was playing, like that consistency. So if he's calling for changes, look, it must be warranted. And look, as I said, I think anyone with a pair of eyes can see from far away that Marnus especially is, I think, under the most pressure, but then closely followed by Weatherald. But yeah, I think you've got to run now with Bo for a while. You've got to give Cam Green number 5 for a while. Keep Travis at the top. He looks, even though some people are like, he doesn't look like an opener. I don't give a shit what openers fucking look like. Like, he just piled on the runs against England and single-handedly, basically, along with Mitch Starc, won that series for us. Like, I don't give a shit what he looks like. He's happy to do the job. I like an aggressive opener. Thank you. And again, just look at how he played. Like, he made that pitch look fairly dull while he was out there. So, that was good. If we're talking about potential changes, though, because people seem to be screaming for changes, which I think is just, have fun. Look, we have the Sheffield Shield stats from last year, our leading run scorers. Renshaw, 500 runs at 50. Amazing. Really good as an opener for Queensland. Then the next best, Jason Stanger, 571 runs at 33. Constance, 660 runs at 33. Good runs, but again, like, the average is also kind of important there. Connolly, 216 runs at 30. Cool. Is it Jack Ward, Tim Ward? One of the Wards. 583 at 30. McSweeney, 477 at 28. Kellaway, 509 at 26. Peake, 323 at 23. Yeah. There's not much there to pick from. Obviously, we've had some spicy pitches, but, from that list, you can really only pick Renshaw. If you add the county game in, then, of course, you've got players like, Jake Lehman, Nathan McSweeney, Cam Bancroft, Marcus Harris. Like, they've been piling the runs on in county cricket. So, really depends which way you want to go here and what stats you want to use for you. But I think the Sheffield Shield, it's as recent as last year. So, again, like, if you're just pulling players out, like, you either they have to be playing now as well. That's the other thing. Like, if you pick a player that hasn't played cricket in 3 months, like, that's kind of just a stupid change for, the point of changing. So, if that's the case, it really has to be someone from county cricket that's got the stats, got the runs, is in form, or is in the squad already. So basically that leaves you with, Bancroft, McSweeney, Inglis. I'm sure I'm missing someone. But, they to be picking, like, kids, basically, like, whether you're going with Constance, Sanger, Kellaway or Peake, no one's averaging more than 33. Like, that's not really forcing your way into the team. You think about Ponting's teams back in the day. Like, they had players, again, like Dave Hussey, Cam White, like, averaging 50 season after season after season, couldn't get in the team. Brad Hodge, another one. Simon Cadich for a while. Chris Rogers. Like, they had mountains of runs and still couldn't get in the team. Mike Hussey even. So, to be giving these kids opportunities is great for our future, but right now is not well earned or warranted. It's a bit like the Jacob Bethel, but if you're picking it for 4 or 5 spots in the team, it's not super fair. All earned, or you nothing to really go off. At least Cam Green came in the side after destroying Shield cricket. So, and from the bowling wise, again, Rockacholi is clearly, like, he did really well in that warm-up game against Bangladesh. Clearly would be gnawing at Nathan Lyon's feet right now. I think he's right there. I think he's gone ahead of Todd Murphy and Kuhneman. Tough choices now for the selectors. My bet would be that they stay strong. They say, you've got this series, impress us, show us something. So now the challenge is Weatherald, piling on some runs in that second game, leading us to a win. Marnus doing the same. Cam Green backing up his 100 with, something substantial in the next game. Bo Webster making a contribution. But yeah, it's just, I think this game was just lost in every facet. We didn't field as well. When you see Steve Smith drop a catch, and it was a fairly dolly kind of catch, we're not having a good game. They out-bowled us, they out-batted us. If you go back and watch day 2, they were just at peace on that pitch, and the only reason we got any wickets was the second new ball and Tanzan throwing his wicket away. So, honestly, I don't foresee any changes unless there's an injury. But there's quite the turnaround time. It's Sunday today. They play on Saturday. They've got basically a full week to get to Mackay and rest and recover and train. So, not expecting any changes. But the next person that calls this an embarrassing defeat, look, on the table of things in the world of, world's standings, Bangladesh are 4th in the World Test Championship. Yes, they're 9th overall, but in terms of rankings, but 4th in this current cycle of the Test Championship. And they're, ahead of teams like England, India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. It's not that embarrassing. It's not that pathetic. Why don't we just give them their flowers? They played better. They earned it. And honestly, they are looking good going into game 2. So looking forward to next Saturday. Great to have some Test cricket back. If you don't like Test cricket, I don't know what's wrong with you. But for us nuffies out there, hell of a game, man. Eyes were glued to it. And hopefully game 2 is just as good because this might be an all-time series, honestly. So this win actually ranks ahead of the West Indies win when they won at the Gabba a couple of years ago for multiple reasons, but more for the fact that Bangladesh haven't toured Australia for 20 plus years. They were given no real warm-up in terms of the media had completely written them off. There was no build-up to the series, really. And they've come out and just smoked us. So, and the fact that they lost to Zimbabwe by an innings, they lost to the CA 11 by an innings, and then they basically won this game by an innings. It's like, man, they fucking came in with no form, apart from having just played Test cricket, but no form, and they should have, no one would have blamed them for coming in and being like, you're in the land of the giants. If you're a bit, scared or just worried, no one would blame you. And they didn't do any of that. They showed up, they had a game plan, they learned from their mistakes, and they beat the living shit out of us. So, they made it look like they were playing at home, and it's not embarrassing. It's not pathetic. They won the game. We didn't lose it. So, well done to Bangladesh. History is made. Great to be part of it. But yes, can't wait for next Saturday. If there's any other breaking news, we will be with you. But the England Test series against Pakistan kicks off on the 18th. I know in a couple of pods I had that wrong. I thought they were starting on the 13th. We were starting on the 18th, but the other way around. So 2 days until we get some cricket back. But yeah, after the first game of this series, this has got all the interest in the world in my mind. So looking forward to that. Be sure to like, subscribe. It really helps the channel. But hey, just appreciate you being here with us and talking cricket. So until next time, bye for now.